Utkarsh says, what's your take on Russia's new foreign policy? So the Russian foreign policy was recently unveiled, and it's a long document. I'll not put it on the screen because I don't have it open anywhere. But so the Russian foreign ministry has come up with a modified, updated version of their foreign policy just yesterday or day before yesterday. And there's a lot, it's a very lengthy document. It will take you at least 10 minutes or so, I would say, if you want to read it thoroughly, properly. But what's interesting is that they are focusing on two major nations, focusing as in cooperation. So these two major nations are China and India. So the Russians have said that they have a very privileged and excellent relationship with India and similar with China, and they're going to be focusing a lot on these two nations to cooperate from the perspective of the mutual national interest and mutual benefit. So and obviously they speak about the US and the fact that the US seeks to destroy and defeat Russia strategically and all those things. So I have not studied it in great detail, but these things stood out to me straight away. So it's clear that the Russians would like to create a new revised world order that is no longer completely led by the US. The focus is definitely on establishing a parallel system of the international order. So you're going to have a bifurcation of the international order. On the one hand, you have the so-called rules-based world order of the United States. On the other hand, we're going to have a different system that's going to be led by Russia, India, China, and lots of other nations are interested. You have the BRICS group of nations. That's 5 nations, including Russia, India, China, South Africa, and Brazil as well. Other nations have expressed their desire to join it. Major nations like Saudi Arabia, which is one of the major oil producers, and Mexico, and lots of other nations want to join BRICS. Indonesia, also various African nations. So BRICS looks like it's set to expand. So we're gonna see lots of changes now, and Russia's foreign policy is calibrated to make these things happen. So it's clear that there's a big change, a big upheaval that's currently happening in real time in the global world order, and Russia's new foreign policy is a reflection of that. So they are stating certain things explicitly, that they will cooperate with India and China, and they are also talking about certain things have to be read between the lines. So that's my first reaction to the Russian foreign policy. Maybe I should look into it in great detail and perhaps make a separate video about that. But yeah, that's what it is. So India is playing a kind of privileged role in this entire matter. It is cooperating in a significant manner with the Western Bloc, with the US and NATO and EU nations. India has a good relationship with these nations. Obviously, the US has not been happy about India's refusal to play along with their sanctions on Russia. But apart from that, India has an excellent relationship reasonably good relationship with the West. India also is a part of BRICS, so it has a good relationship with the East as well. A privileged relationship with Russia. Not good relationship with China, but things could possibly improve, possibly depending on how Mr. Xi Jinping goes about things. His nation is also under a lot of stress and strain right now, a lot of pressure. Things are not going as per the way they had expected. So India is playing a very important and interesting role. India is not taking one side or the other, and India could end up being the bridge between the Western Bloc and the Eastern Bloc. And India could be the nation that nobody really is afraid of, because India doesn't have any expansionist hegemonic ambitions, and it's a nation that everybody can essentially trust. So India could eventually in the next 20 years emerge as the global diplomatic center of the world. Maybe we should relocate the United Nations to India or something like that. So that's what's happening. Time will tell us how it goes, but that's the deal, and that's what I think of the Russian foreign policy.